So we are TG11 Group 6 and today we're going to present our strategy proposal for AMP Singapore. So we're going to start off with a list of initial findings for AMP in 2018. And the first thing that we want to recognize is that there's some sort of sustainable issue in one of the operating segment, namely the student care. So we can see that in 2015, AMP actually made restructuring efforts to be able to increase the revenue for student care. However, we can see from 2017 onwards that the result is not what AMP has expected, and they are continuing to making a loss, making the operating segment not extremely sustainable by itself. And the next issue that we want to raise is actually that there's inefficiency in terms of fundraising for AMP. Comparing to the peer companies such as Pertapis and Muhammadiyah, we recognize that AMP actually occurs twice as much expenses to be able to raise almost similar amount of donations compared to the other peer companies. And then the third issue that we want to raise is that AMP actually recognizes social impact in terms of the number of beneficiaries. However, we recognize that for AMP, in terms of education enrichment, for the last 2 years, it has been decreasing at extremely high rates. So in 2016, they actually benefited 21,000 people, and in 2018, that number drops to 1.65 thousand people. And so my colleagues later will be trying to use some of the strengths and opportunities that we recognize for AMP, such as AMP's well-established reputation as a non-profit organization, and also opportunities such as the advancement in technology, and how we can actually use this to be able to overcome some of its weaknesses that we recognize in the initial findings.
In our first strategy, we aim to improve the existing student care service, which is AMP's weekend opus, to ensure sustainability. The operational issues that we have identified is in the loss-making position. However, high reliance ratio of 22% means that it's actually the second highest operating segment in AMP. This, along with the government plans to increase supply of student care centres in the next few years, threatens the sustainability of AMP as an educational provider. Other operational issues include that it's actually not a supply issue in the market due to the number of places offered more than enrollments in these centres. And also there's a fall in social impact of education enrichment, meaning that there is lesser demand for AMP's student care centres, meaning that there is less beneficiaries, especially in the Malay Muslim communities. The strategy, hence, is to restructure existing educational curriculum to offer more academically focused services to attract demand. This would help AMP to meet its objectives to help the Malay and Muslim communities in terms of education. How are we going to do it? We're actually thinking of using technology education to improve the quality of education in these classrooms. We are using a two-pronged approach. The first one being quality services, where we will use tablet technology to keep the students engaged in the classroom, foster communications, and access game-based learning apps. This will help them to learn a diverse set of skills such as software programming and coding. So the tablet project will focus on game-based learning such as websites like Kahoot, and the coding and programming will be looking at low-cost to free apps online. The next approach that we are looking at is quality teachers. We'll be providing adequate resources to teachers, as this has been proven to increase the perception of the quality of teachers in centres. And how we're going to do it, we are going to introduce an integration of a student information system to manage the student's life cycle. In this chart, we are showing you the features that the current student management systems in the market offers. This would help to foster communications between the students, teachers, and parents, which would allow them to build a AMP education community. we aim to have a direct impact on 2,000 students using our student care centers and earn an additional revenue of almost 1.5 million using a cost of investment before grants of about 500,000. All in all, we hope that the restructured WeCanopus program will be a learning program that supports self-learning initiatives to match its peer centers in the market and also provide a more conducive learning environment for the disadvantaged students to be able to be on a level playing field academically, as well as to prepare AMP for further challenges in the education sector, such as the increasing supply of centers.
So for strategy 2, we will propose to increase the donation through organizing a gala dinner. In terms of the source of social influence, AMP itself has a few key players that are able to influence the social political office. This includes the previous event that have been hosted by the company, and if you notice in the slides, the company actually hosted the high-profile officials. This includes the Speaker of Parliament, which then was the Madam Halimah Yaakob. In terms of the source of donation, currently now online they have two methods. One is the one-time donation range from $10 to $200. The other method is the monthly donation through the deduction from the salary. So we propose to organize the annual gala dinner, and currently the AMP is not doing it. And one of the reason is that gala dinner itself is one of the highest donation driver from corporate companies. For example, NKF hosts the 49th anniversary, which in the dinner itself they raised about 934,000. The other company was ACI Singapore, which they organized a golf and gala dinner and also raised about 870,000. So in terms of planning, we aim to raise $1 million through the gala dinner, and our target groups are all the high-profile corporate companies. This include banking, airlines, hotel sectors, and Singapore Pools. So the dinner itself also includes a charity auction, and this auction is including the antique vase, painting, and clocks. We will link with the companies to provide us with the supplies. The cost of dinner itself for the companies will offer to each table to cost about $10,000 for 10 packs, and whereas for the families and individual it will cost about $250, of which the $200 is the cost for the dinner and $50 will be the donation to the event. For our planning wise, we also include the sponsorship for the grand prize for the lucky draws from companies, and this as shown here. In terms of VIP invitation, we intend to invite the Singapore President and also the Singapore Minister for Environment and Water Resource, Mr. Masago. In terms of the timeline wise, we intend to plan this dinner through during the period of Ramadan, and because Ramadan itself, most of the Muslims will be more willing to give more donation to do a good deed. Operating cost itself, we have summarized. It costs about $122,500, and this is about 12.25% of the revenue, the targeted revenue.
Our third strategy is to address the needs of the community effectively through measurable social outcomes. AMP faced many challenges, and that includes competing with other charity organizations over donations from the public, lack of public transparency, and ineffective utilization of funds on programs that does not address the fundamental needs of the community. For example, according to AMP's 2014 annual report with respect to adult and education training, AMP has invested over 200,000. However, only 73 beneficiaries were identified. As shown in this slide, the various social programs are not well received by the community. As such, strategy 3 aims to alleviate the challenges faced. According to MOE and MSF report, as compared to other ethnic groups in Singapore, the Malay ethnic group has the lowest passing rates in national examinations, higher school dropout rates, percentage of students pursuing higher education is lower, and the highest number of single mothers. To narrow the gap of these individuals and society, AMP can set up a social enterprise cafe called Soul Garden. Soul Garden hires school dropouts, single moms, and mothers that did not complete secondary school education from the Malay or Muslim community. This project supports them to find alternative ways to reintegrate back into society. This cafe serves to provide temporary jobs for this targeted group, allowing them to have sufficient earnings while undergoing professional trainings. While on the job, the targeted group of the Soul Garden project will be required to attend relevant courses to equip them with knowledge and on how to manage the daily operations of the cafe and food hygiene practices. AMP can seek guidance from Mr. Jason, a social entrepreneur and his experience in the food and beverage industry, to lead and mentor the cafe management team. Halal certified, Soul Garden will provide Chinese food such as halal bak kut teh and classic dim sum. The revenue from the cafe will be used to finance costs of running the cafe such as salaries and rental. Hence, this project will construct a self-sustainable ecosystem for the continuous operation of the cafe. Soul Garden serves as a safe platform for them to gain confidence and skill sets that will facilitate their gradual integration into the workforce. Individuals who successfully gain employability should be invited back for talks to encourage the current employees in the cafe. In addition, Soul Garden can hold biannual talks and discussion by motivational speakers or prominent public figures from the Malay Muslim community, which will be compulsory for the targeted group to attend. With the rise in e-payments and technology, AMP should incorporate and allow online donations to be made through e-payment apps such as PayLah and PayNow to facilitate convenient giving. As such, a QR code can also be placed on all the tables in Soul Garden. While fulfilling its social mission, Soul Garden also increases public awareness of AMP. Soul Garden enhances AMP's transparency by building a touch point for donors to directly interact with beneficiaries, which in this case are the employees. Information on AMP's programs and services can also be put up in Soul Garden. Transparency of AMP will increase since donors will learn of how donations will benefit its beneficiaries. With higher public confidence towards AMP, more will be willing to donate. Thus, AMP will have an advantage over its peers over public fundraising.
So I'll wrap it up the presentation today with our projected timeline. Our first quarter, we will be looking at how we can plan and coordinate the gala dinner. We're also looking at how we can purchase the tablets and also the student accreditation system for the restructuring program for weekend opers. And also we're going to look at how we can source for a location for the social enterprise cafe Soul Garden. And in the second quarter, we'll be looking at how we will host the gala dinner. And we'll be running the pilot program for the upgrades to the student care centers. And also we'll be looking at how we can hire, select and interview the employees for the Soul Garden. And afterwards, in the third quarter, we'll be looking at how we will host like professional training programs and also talks to our beneficiaries. And in the fourth quarter will be our official launch of the Social Enterprise Cafe Soul Garden, and as well as setting up e-payments for donation and also payment for the cafe. And that is all for our presentation. Thank you.